Early Spongebob did a lot of things pretty much perfectly. You could talk about the great atmosphere, the great storytelling, the great comedy, or the great writing in general. But I think a very underrated aspect of early Spongebob episodes is how they really mastered staging and making a frame as dynamic and interesting as possible. Hey! So staging is basically how everything in the frame is positioned in relation to each other. Every element in the frame can be arranged in different ways to create different shot compositions and can be what makes or break a frame. Good staging is the difference between a boring shot and a very interesting and dynamic one. And early SpongeBob really mastered staging. Season 1 of SpongeBob has some of the best shot compositions I've ever seen in a cartoon. Instead of just sticking to the same boring shots over and over again, we get some new and interesting camera angles in pretty much every scene. Now, I'm saying camera angles like this isn't animated, but since all of these terms are from like actual movies, like live action movies and shows, I don't really know how else to put it. That also means that framing also applies here. Like staging is usually how you put everything in the frame, and framing is how you like record and shoot. But since this is a cartoon, they're basically the same thing, so you can really like swap the words out. And I'm gonna stick with staging though, cause I said it already.
Flecto has found our secret lab.
What would the real Mermaid Man do?
Why don't you ask him yourself?
Elaborate, you vile fiend.
The perspectives are always switching up in early SpongeBob, giving us really interesting and dynamic views of the scenes, making it more fun and engaging to look at, instead of cutting between the same two angles as characters are talking. A great example of Season 1 using its staging to make everything more dynamic is the opening scene in Nature Pants, when SpongeBob almost burns down the Krusty Krab. This frame is like a meme, but it is also really incredible just how fun it is and how it really elevates everything with perspective and all. It's also a good example of blocking, which has to do with the actors positioning in relation to each other and the camera, like standing in front and in the foreground and stuff. Now in this frame there are no actors and no camera, but positioning SpongeBob like this in the foreground with the fireman running through the door further into the frame, that's just amazing, like it looks really good.
What's wrong, boy?
Well,
This is the 4th time this week I've had to scrape you off of something.
Well, I've been thinking.
We need to get you thinking about work!
No offense, Mr. Krabs.
This continues when SpongeBob goes to Mr. Krabs' office, where I really like the perspective we get here with the tilted framing. Sherm Cohen, a storyboard director on SpongeBob, like all the way back from the beginning, made this guide to background staging, which is very applicable to this frame right here. Instead of just having a regular shot where the two are on the same level looking at each other, we get this incredible frame that really elevates the scene. Now, that's not saying that these other ones are bad. Matter of fact, I'm sure many of you recognize the framing on the top left of Krabs as pretty much that exactly has been in the show before, but I think SpongeBob's first season is just really good at switching up. Like, this is a view that you get in SpongeBob, but it's not the only view you get.
Huh? Who's there?
Come on, SpongeBob. One more game. I can smell the treasure.
Mr. Krabs, it's late. Go to bed.
In the Season 1 episode Squidward the Unfriendly Ghost, there is another example of some very interesting staging inside of Squidward's house.
Patrick, are you ready for this?
Yes?
Okay, let's go. Patrick, are you coming?
Yes?
Patrick, it's this way.
Where?
Here.
Oh!
This just makes the scene feel a lot more three-dimensional and a lot less flat than what it would have looked like otherwise. And it can be found in every early episode.
Hurry up with those chairs, SpongeBob. It's after closing, and I'd like to go home.
I got it!
By allowing themselves to have fun with the staging and not make everything look samey, it really adds to the immersion of these early episodes. I've talked before about how Season 1's atmosphere and underwater atmosphere more specifically really makes you feel like you are right there with the characters, and this goes very well together with the staging in my opinion. Like, instead of the more sitcom-like look and feel you could get from other animated shows and even some later Spongebob episodes with the same angles, here it just looks so three-dimensional even though the show is two-dimensional, like it's 2D animated.
I'm ready. Squidward! Squidward!
What?
I'm ready, Squidward!
Ready to move?
No, I'm ready to pass my boating test! I'm ready, I'm ready!
Again, this isn't a sitcom or even a live-action show at all, like there's no camera, but if you imagine there is, like your Alex Bale, you can really see them putting this imaginary camera like higher up or lower down or in the corners to just make the viewer like feel a lot more immersed into the show, into the scene. This is also a reason that Season 1 often is extra important for my lore videos. Not only because it is often the first time something appears, but the dynamic staging often gives us different angles of rooms in the show. Employee of the Month is an episode that has some excellent staging where we get a lot of unusual perspectives. Let's compare another Season 1 episode, Bubble Stand. Let's compare the staging in Bubble Stand to the staging in the Season 11 episode Ink Lemonade. Both these episodes use the same setting and almost the exact same spot as well. In Bubble Stand, SpongeBob builds, a bubble stand next to Squidward's house on SpongeBob's side. And in Ink Lemonade, Patrick builds, I think he just spawns it in, a lemonade stand next to Squidward's house, but on Patrick's side. The opening shots of these two episodes are very similar. Like, if Ink Lemonade was a Season 14 episode, I would think it was a sequel to Bubble Stand. But there is a big difference in the framing and staging of these two episodes. Ink Lemonade, for its first few minutes, cut between pretty much this exact same view of Patrick's lemonade stand to like other stuff going on in like Squidward's house.
Here you go.
Like, I guess there are a few close-ups of Patrick as well, but this view from the right is what we see the lemonade stand for. This view is what we get of the lemonade stand for kind of the whole episode.
Good morning.
Oh boy.
Good morning to you, sir.
Meanwhile, in Bubble Stand, we get angles of the bubble stand from the right, from the left, from right in front, from the side, from upwards, like...
Spin around like this. Take over here. 1, 2, 3, yeah.
Like, it's actually crazy just checking how many views they do of this very simple setting. There are a lot of episodes that take place almost entirely on Conch Street, like this one, and Bubble Stand makes this location very dynamic with its staging. This is not saying that modern Spongebob has bad staging, but in my opinion, Season 1, like with much else, just does this perfectly.